Hey everybody, welcome back to From the Anvil. It's a day late, tends to be a habit on this channel, but anyway, just want to do my post-game thoughts very quickly where it finished. West Ham United 2, Burnley 2 at the London Stadium. West Ham salvages a point and avoids embarrassment, but it's the overall, I suppose, reaction to the game that I'm struggling to come to a conclusion about, because first half was shocking, but second half, we really stepped it up. We need to play like how we did in the second half for the rest of the season, where we just bombarded Burnley's defence all game and were rewarded with 2 goals from open play. I have to give credit to David Moyes on one thing. He did make sensible substitutions and really good tactical changes to get those goals. So I have to say that I've got to praise him for that. But the first half was just bad. Really bad. So it was a bit of a mixed game in that sense. I go over team lineups. A lot of changes made. Areola's in goal. Sofal and Cresswell as fullbacks because of Emerson's injury. And this can't be good for Ben Johnson. If he's not getting game time, then it suggests that he might not sign the new contract. Again, Mavropanos as centre-backs. Souček and Phillips in the midfield. Alvarez was benched and rested for Thursday's game against Freiburg. Kudus, James Ward-Prowse and Paquetá with Bowen up top. Souček taking the armband. That I can get behind. I'd have him as a captain, honestly. Burnley took the lead on the 11th minute through a hit from Fofana, and what a hit it was. Again, kind of is to blame for not really getting the ball back, but David Dantra Fofana smacks the ball into the top right corner from distance. We couldn't pass the ball to save our lives in that first half, just really couldn't do it, couldn't keep the ball at all. James Ward-Prowse and Phillips can't work together, they have no chemistry, and Phillips, honestly, is annoyingly bad. He's bad for the amount of wages that he's being paid. If it were a loan and City were paying all of the cost of his wages, then fair enough, but they're not. And he's just such a bad player. He offers nothing to this team. He's not the player that he was at Leeds United. He's not even the player he was when he was at Manchester City, because he wasn't that player either there. He's had a huge fall from grace, and he hasn't managed to get back on his feet. I appreciate that he's honest that he's not been playing well enough and that he wants to rectify that, but it's not good enough still. I would never want to start him ever again in a game. Ward-Prowse has 5 goals and 7 assists this season. Set pieces are good, but he's another one that annoys me in a way. He wasn't playing in the right position in this game, fair enough, but he annoys me so much. He should not be playing in the number 10 role for a start. 2-0 came before half-time with an old goal from Mavropanos, and it was just so horrific. But well done to Moyes for realising that it was bad and making the changes at the break. Phillips and James Ward-Prowse came off for Alvarez and Antonio, so extra defensive cover, physicality up front. 30 seconds into that half, Paquetá won the ball back and went one-on-one with Trafford, scoring. It was 2-1, deficit halved. Burnley's tactic in the second half was just to lie on the floor for long periods of the time and kill the clock down. Trafford just didn't know how to get up and stand on his feet. Brownhill was getting criticised by the Burnley fans after and even actually during the game. Kudus also got a chance really, really close to the goal as well, but he skied it over. He had enough time to shoot the ball as well. The rain was hammering down, the pitch was getting slippery, but that's not an explanation for how bad both players for both teams were. No one could stay on the feet. Paquetá made more completed passes, the tempo was up, he was trying more long balls. Antonio was fighting off defenders as well. Bowen was impressive, and Kudus again still getting the ball into the box. Alvarez was fantastic, he added that cover. And with him adding the defensive cover, it means West Ham could throw on another attacker. Danny Ings came on in place of Nye Figuered. At the 86th minute, Danny Ings, and this is actually where it gets me piss boiling. Danny Ings scored a goal. And I said, yep, he's definitely on the replay. I even said he's on. VAR ruled this off for offside. And I don't know how. How? Antonio's shoulder is behind the Burnley defender, so by law, he's onside. And the lines were drawn wrong. That should not have been disallowed. Danny Ings came on in that game and made quite an impact. He wanted it. He showed hunger. He's showing desire in this second half of the season. That just pissed me off so much. But thankfully, Ings did make it count. Kudos crossed the ball in. Ings chested it down, turned around and fired first time into the right side of the goal. 2-2. Burnley dropped points. It's got to be seen as drop points for Burnley. Antonio also came just wide, and then Ings hit the crossbar in stoppage time. There were 8 minutes of stoppages as well. And I was like, oh, what is going on? There was even a penalty shout, and this is a genuine penalty shout. I think it was Antonio threw it into the 6-yard box, and Sander Berger punches the ball like a volleyball player into the air. Is it like off his head and onto his hands? But either way, it's touching both his hands. Not even reviewed for penalty check. We're kind of robbed in that sense as well. And it finished 2-2. Not a great result, but we finished this game week 7th still. And I can be okay with that. I was just so annoyed at the fact that we've got to keep up that same level of performance for the rest of the season based on that second half alone. We've got to do that. First half bad, second half good. So it's like real game of two halves in that sense. We need to control the game for both halves though. And that way, we play the full 90, we'll demolish teams and we'll be good.